There's a planet in our solar system where winds blast faster than the speed of sound, storms rage like monsters, and no human has ever set foot, or ever will. This is Neptune, the dark, distant ice giant that scientists almost missed entirely. And today, we're diving into the wildest facts, myths, and mysteries about this strange blue world. This is everything you need to know about Neptune. Let's start from the beginning. Neptune is about 4.5 billion kilometers from the Sun. To put that into perspective, Earth is only about 150 million kilometers from the Sun. So Neptune is roughly 30 times farther away. Imagine if you tried to drive that distance in a car going 100 kilometers an hour, non-stop. It would take you over 5,000 years. Because it's so far, Neptune takes a really long time to go around the Sun once. 1 year on Neptune equals about 165 years on Earth. That means if you were born on Neptune, you wouldn't even get to celebrate your first birthday until you were 165 years old by Earth standards. Crazy, right? But on the flip side, a day on Neptune is much shorter than ours. It spins so fast that one day is only about 16 hours long, compared to our 24 hours. So Neptune has shorter days but super long years. So what is Neptune exactly? A frozen rock? A gas cloud? Or something far more strange? Neptune is called an ice giant. That might sound like a frozen planet, but it's not exactly like an ice cube. It's mostly made of gases and ices, which are substances like water, ammonia, and methane, in frozen or liquid form under high pressure. Unlike Earth, Neptune doesn't have a solid surface you can stand on. Instead, it has a thick atmosphere made mostly of hydrogen, helium, and methane gas. The methane is what gives Neptune its stunning blue color because it absorbs red light and reflects blue light back out. So when you look at pictures of Neptune, that beautiful blue is actually thanks to methane in its atmosphere. Speaking of atmosphere, Neptune is famous for having some of the strongest winds in the entire solar system. Winds can reach speeds of over 2,000 kilometers per hour. That's faster than the speed of sound on Earth. These winds create massive storms, some of which are called dark spots. They're kinda like hurricanes, but much bigger and more intense. You might have heard of Jupiter's Great Red Spot, a huge storm that's been raging for centuries. Neptune storms aren't as long-lasting, but they're still impressive and show how wild Neptune's weather can be. Neptune also has rings, but they're nothing like the bright, beautiful rings of Saturn. Neptune's rings are faint and made mostly of dust and ice particles. They're hard to see, even with powerful telescopes. Scientists think these rings might have formed from debris knocked off moons or captured objects. Speaking of moons, Neptune has 14 known moons. The biggest one is called Triton, and it's really interesting because it orbits Neptune in the opposite direction of the planet's rotation. This suggests Triton might have been a captured object from the Kuiper Belt, a region of icy bodies beyond Neptune. You might be wondering, how did we even find Neptune if it's so far and faint? Well, Neptune is actually the only planet in our solar system that was discovered through math before anyone saw it through a telescope. You see, back in the early 1800s, astronomers noticed something strange. Uranus, the planet discovered just a few decades earlier, wasn't following its predicted path around the Sun. It was as if something invisible was tugging at it, pulling it off course. Some people even wondered if the laws of gravity didn't work so far from the Sun. But two mathematicians working separately, John Couch Adams in England and Urbain Le Verrier in France, had a different idea. What if there was another planet, even further out, whose gravity was messing with Uranus? Le Verrier did the math and sent his calculations to Johann Gottfried Galle, an astronomer at the Berlin Observatory. On the night of September 23, 1846, Galle pointed his telescope at the spot Le Verrier predicted. And there it was, just 1 degree away from the exact position Le Verrier had calculated. Neptune had finally been seen. Not by chance, but by following the numbers. Now, this is what you'll find most interesting. Did you know that Galileo actually saw Neptune way back in 1612? But he thought it was just a faint star. If only he had watched more closely, he might have discovered the planet 200 years before it was officially found. But that's by the way. Neptune is huge. I mean very, very huge. We are talking about 4 times the size of Earth. However, it is actually the smallest of the 4 giant planets in our solar system. The others are Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus. But even though it's smaller than Uranus, Neptune is more massive and denser. That means it packs more stuff into a smaller space. Neptune's dense core is made of rock and metal, surrounded by layers of ices and gases. What about temperature? If you think a planet so far from the Sun would be freezing cold, then you are absolutely right. Neptune's average temperature is about -200 degrees Celsius, -330 degrees Fahrenheit. That's colder than any place on Earth, even Antarctica. But interestingly, Neptune gives off more heat from inside than it gets from the Sun. Scientists believe this internal heat comes from leftover energy from when the planet formed, plus some slow gravitational compression. This heat might be why Neptune's atmosphere is so active and stormy. No human has ever been to Neptune, and probably won't for a long time because it's so far away. The only spacecraft to visit Neptune was Voyager 2, which flew by in 1989. Voyager 2 sent back amazing pictures and data, showing us details about Neptune's rings, moons, and storms. Since then, we've learned more through powerful telescopes on Earth and in space, but a dedicated mission to orbit Neptune and study it up close is still a dream for the future. Maybe one day we'll send another spacecraft to explore it more closely and uncover even more amazing facts. So, what makes Neptune stand out compared to other planets? For one, its deep blue color is unique in the solar system, thanks to methane. Its extreme winds and storms are the fastest and most intense we know of. And it's the only planet discovered by math, not by just looking. Plus, its moon Triton is one of the coldest objects in the solar system, and even has geysers that shoot nitrogen gas into space, which is pretty wild if you ask me. If you would love to learn more about the planets and their motions, then you should definitely check out our earlier video on gravity. It's the force that holds the universe together, and the reason Neptune was even discovered in the first place. Click the video icon in the corner of your screen to watch it now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon.